Hi everyone and welcome back. In this lecture, we will learn how to create a stunning report in Power BI desktop from an Excel workbook. We'll build a very beautiful report from start to finish, and we will learn how to first of all download sample data in multiple ways. We will prepare our data with a few transformations. We will build a report with a title, some visuals and slicers, and we will publish our report to the Power BI service so that we can share it with our colleagues. Now, the scenario is that your manager wants to see a report on your latest sales figures. They have requested an executive summary of which month and year had the most profit, where is the company seeing the most success by country or region, and which product and segment should the company continue to invest in. We will use a sample finance workbook and we can quickly build this report. And we will have a very beautiful report coming up in the next few minutes. So let's get started. Now, once you launch Power BI desktop, you get a welcome screen. You might want to uncheck this so that you do not see this screen on startup every time. But if you're okay with seeing this screen because it contains some really good resources of what's new, forums, how to get started with Power BI desktop, some tutorial videos, and some more options over here, let it be. Otherwise you might want to uncheck this so it doesn't comes up on every time you open up Power BI desktop. For now I will let this be and I will click close. So there are two ways you can get the data. Number one, you can get the data in Power BI desktop itself. So once you load Power BI desktop, you have an option to try a sample data set along with other options, import data from Excel, SQL Server, some other connectors. So we will do try a sample data set and I will click this. So you have a tutorial which you can use and then you can also experiment on your own, and then you can click on load sample data. So once you click this, you have the navigator window open up where you have the option to look at the financial sample.xlsx. So moment you click on any of these, you see that a preview opens up where you can have a look at the data. So this is one way. I will click on cancel for now and I'll go back to the home screen. The another way is you can use a downloaded Excel workbook. So I have added that Excel workbook in the resources section of this course. Go ahead, download it in your local system. And once you have done that, you can click on home, click on Excel workbook and choose the workbook that you have downloaded in your local, and here you go. You will come back to the same navigator window that will allow you to pick up any of these tabs from the financial sample.xlsx file. So in the navigator you have the option to transform and load data. So what also is that the navigator provides a preview of your data so you can verify that you have the correct range of data. So in order to activate these, you have to check this. So once you check this, you have the load and transform data buttons active. So also make sure that we understand what we see over here. You verify that there's a correct range of data. Also see that the numeric data types are in italics, and the text data types are straight. So this is a great way to differentiate if there is something that should be, maybe in a text format. Then you understand that, hey, this is coming up in numeric and this needs to be in the other formats. If you need to make changes, you have to transform your data before loading, and to make the visualizations easier to read later, we do want to transform the data now. And as we do these transformations, you will see, it keeps on adding it in a list under query settings. So let's choose to transform the data. So I have to select the financials sheet, and then rather than clicking on load, I first click on transform data. So this way we can transform the data before we load, and this will open up the Power Query editor, and there are a whole lot of options that you can use to transform your data. Now to begin with, we have all of these files. So I'll begin with the units sold. You select the unit sold column, and on the transform tab you choose the data type, right? So in the transform data tab, you choose the data type. Right now it is given as a decimal number, and you change it and make it whole number. So this way you will open up another window that's asking, hey, the selected column has an existing type conversion. Would you like to replace it or preserve the existing and add the new conversion as a separate step? You can choose here to replace current, and this way it will change up to a whole number. So this is one way. You know, this step users do most often is is changing the data types. This is one of the top data cleaning steps. We have in this case, the units sold were in decimal form. It doesn't make sense to have zero point 0.2 or zero point 0.5 of a unit sold. So we have changed it to a whole number, and that's what we have done in this step. The next data transformation is something that we will do over here in the segment category. So you select the segment column. We want to make the segments easier to see in the chart. So we will format the segment column, and on the transform tab itself, we have an option to change the formatting. So we will now change the formatting of this, and you can even click on over here, and you can look at different other options as you would see in your Excel sheet. You can even right click, and then there are a lot of other options. I will choose to see the transform from here and change this to uppercase. So once you change this to uppercase, everything becomes uppercase. What happens in this way is, if there is some user who has entered government in both uppercase and lowercase by mistake, they would merge and make it as one text of uppercase, that is government. So makes it easy for us to create charts and also normalizes the data. Now, what we will do next is we will go ahead and have a look at the month name. So we have the month name field, and what we will do is, rather than keeping it as a month name, let's just call it month. So you double click over here, and you see that this becomes an editable column header, and you remove the text name and just press enter, so that this changes to month. Perfect. What we will do next is we will go to the product field. Where is the product field? Here it is. We will go to the product column, and we will select the drop down, and what we will do is we will search for Montana, and we will remove Montana for now. Okay. uh, why we are doing this? Let's say we know that one of these products, Montana, was discontinued from last month. So we want to filter this data from our report to avoid confusion. This can be a scenario. So we are doing this data transformation, and then we can click OK. So the data that now loads for us to create charts will have this product removed from the text. Now we have taken certain steps. You see that each transformation has been added to the list under query settings in applied steps. right? So you can see all of these steps. So this was source, and then we have changed some navigation, we have changed the type, we have uppercase the text, then we renamed the column, and then we filtered the data. So step by step, we have all the steps over here. If you want to change anything, let's say you want to maybe not remove the Montana but something else, so you can click on the settings button, and you see that automatically there is a logic that's created in the backend, and you can change, like does not equal Montana. You might want to change this if the spelling changes, or if you might want to have like does not begins with Montana, so that if there is anything like Montana, Montana A, Montana B, you can remove those as well. So all of these is possible by clicking over here, and then you have some advanced options where you keep rows where, and then you add some more logics to it, you add more clauses to it. You can do all of that. Further, if you might want to remove this step totally, all you have to do is click on this icon over here of deleting the step, and this step will be totally removed from your data transformation process, and makes it easier for you to then further use this data in your Power BI report. Now all of this is done beautiful. What we will do is we will go back to the home tab, right? And you can now click on close and apply. So once you have done all the transformations, you have to go back to the home tab, click on close and apply. And there are other options of apply, close, etc. So apply would apply, but still it would keep the window open. Close would close this without saving changes, but I want to do close and apply. So this will apply changes to my query. Awesome. What I'll do is, I'll end this lecture over here, and I'll come back in the next lecture. And what we will do in the next one is we will do some more exciting stuff before we even start building our visuals. You see that our data has loaded, and it's a transformed data, so makes it easy for us to create visuals and reports. Thank you, and I will see you in the next lecture.